Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order and not publication order, because publication order is just looking at dates. Alright, so today I'm going to review Sean Stewart's Dark Rendezvous, Yoda Dark Rendezvous, I should say. It's been a while since I've read this one. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I don't remember much the first time I read it through. I remembered that Dooku wanted to speak to Yoda. It was all a trap, and Yoda goes to talk to him, and that's really the gist of it. I knew there's some stuff that happened in the middle, but I couldn't remember what. Rereading it, wow, I missed a whole lot. This is a really good book here. Sean Stewart does a great job with it, and it is one of the best of the Clone Wars, though that's not saying much, right? But it is a very good book. I just wrote some notes here. Dooku is 83 years old, is how they said. I did not know that. Did not know he was that old. There are two Jedi Masters they focus on for a little bit. One is Jay, I think, J-A-I. He's a Jedi instructor at the Temple. He is the one who's kind of conducting a Padawan tournament right now. That's going to come into play later on. But he's running the Padawan tournament. His name is Iron Hand. That's what they call him, I guess, because he's like mean or whatever. And then there's a Grand Jedi. Not Gran, the three-eyed alien species Jedi called Leem, and she's sad because the temple isn't what it used to be. Instead of seating 100 Jedi for lunches and dinners, there's only 40 plates set out now. The Jedi Temple is a ghost town, not many people around. The children only learn combat and war communications and stuff. They don't learn the arts, music, crafts and stuff. So the world has changed. The Jedi has changed. The temple is not, her home feels empty. And that's because some Jedi have left. Most Jedi are, out battling during the war, and a lot of them have died. And so that perspective was really cool as well. There are two Padawans this focuses on. One is called Y, I guess. W-H-I-E, we or Y, I pronounce it Y. And he has a premonition of the Force. He knows his fate. He sees someone who we all know is going to be Ventress. He sees another Padawan called Scout, who is also in this. And then he knows that his death will be at the hands of a Jedi. And so he has this dream a lot. And he doesn't know why a Jedi would kill him. I'll go ahead and push through his story a little bit. He later on tells Scout that he thinks he knows what happens. He thinks he turns to the dark side and a Jedi kills him. That's what he thinks. But he's never afraid in certain situations because he knows this is not how he was destined to die. He's destined to die by the hand of a Jedi. Another Padawan is Scout. Scout has little to no Force expertise. In fact, the entire council plus Jai, the teacher, thinks that, you know what? We should send her to the Agri Corps. She'd be great in the Agri Corps. She'd really be good. But she just doesn't have enough force power to get along. And Scout knows this. Scout has got by on the seat of her pants ever since she's been in the temple. She was very fortunate to get her first Jedi Master, but that was at the start of the Clone Wars, and that Jedi Master died immediately. Right before it looked like she was going to be shipped out to the Agri Corps, Jedi Knight surprised everyone and took her as her Padawan and said, "Hey, I got to go on this mission, but when I come back, you and I are going to, we're going to be one. We're going to be on the same missions together and everything." And then that Jedi passed away. So it's like she's way older than all the other younglings now. She's just a masterless Padawan, and they're thinking it's time to go ahead and just, no one's wanting her, let's send her to the Agri Corps. And she knows that. She studies really hard. She practices she's great at hand-to-hand combat. Like I said, not that much force ability, so she can't do much. In fact, the younger kids, as she enters this tournament, all the younger kids are better than her, and she knows that. And she has to use her wits to outsmart the first two kids to get through the first two rounds. And when it gets down to 8, Yoda makes a deal with the instructor and says, "Hey, Master Jay, if she makes in the top 4, we'll keep her. If not, she'll be shipped to the Agri Corps." He said, "However, when she does, your Padawan she will be." Like, giving her a master. And of course, Scout does win. Those chapters are really good as she's going through the tournament because she's doing different things, tricking and fooling her fellow Padawans and getting victories. Not really victory. Every time Jay frowns and says, "That's not really a victory there. You you were deceitful. She went, hey, it's a fair fight, right? There's one time the training sabers are on real low capacity, and what she does to surprise, she's cornered. The Jedi Padawan has her at almost said laser sword, lightsaber. Her lightsaber's at the tip of her neck, and she goes, well, I either have to yield or you have to cut me 3 times to win. She went, so here's the first cut. And she grabs the lightsaber and digs it into, or grabs the lightsaber, I think, and it burns her hand. But the other Jedi Padawan's like shocked that she would do that. And then what happens is Scout tugs on the lightsaber, pulls her in closer to her, and gets her in an arm bar to have her tap out because she's good at hand-to-hand combat. And I mean, just things like that she does to edge her way up to getting the #1 spot and getting a master. At first, Jay does not want to be her master. He does not believe in her. But as their short adventure, they go on the adventure. When Yoda gets the message from Dooku, he knows immediately it's a trap, but he says that he thinks that Dooku thinks he's lying about not wanting to go home, not wanting to see the temple, not being too old, wanting this all to be over. He says, no, Dooku thinks he's lying, but there is truth there. So Yoda's like, there is hope for my former Padawan. So he goes undercover. He gets these 2 Jedi Knights and their apprentices to come. I mean, not their apprentices to come with him, and they hop a transport incognito. Okay, he has a fake Yoda who is an actor who is a decoy, so the cameras won't be on him the whole time. And this actor's great. He starred in the movie Jedi with an exclamation point, and they say he does a dead-on Yoda impersonation. It's great, and he has makeup. He's smaller, I guess. And meanwhile, Ventress is mad at Dooku because Dooku will not make her Sith apprentice. She really wants to prove to Dooku she can do it. So when she hears Yoda, she sees all the fanfare of Yoda going off on this peace mission. She decides to attack him and jump him. And of course, she finds out it's a fake Yoda. So now she's furious that she got fooled by a decoy, and she wants to find the real Yoda. And later on she does. She attacks the transport. She kills both of the Jedi. She keeps a running tally of the Jedi she kills. She keeps calling one Jedi number 17. And when she kills the other Jedi Master, she goes 18. That's all she says to Liam. So Liam and Jay die fighting Ventress. It's really good. That those fights, that battle's really good. Jay knows, even though he's an instructor at the temple, he knows that Ventress is just better than him. She's just better. She's not stronger in the Force. The dark side is not stronger. She's just better. She's better at lightsaber duels than he is. And he knows he's in trouble. And he almost goes to the dark side at the end, but he decides not to open himself up to the dark side, and he dies. And of course, the Padawans are left alive. She runs away. Eventually, the heat gets too hot for her, and so there's too many people going after her. So she runs away. Yoda, she wasn't able to get Yoda. Yoda and the Padawans now have to find their own ship to get to, I think it's Vjun, which is where Dooku is, and so Yoda has to bargain for another ship, and he gets a great deal on a ship without even using the Force. And the Padawans are like, how did you get such a great deal? He said, well, missing a few things it is. Missing a few abilities. I went, the ability, it doesn't have guns, or it has low shielding, or it has, and he goes, no, shielding it has, guns it has. And they go, well, what's it missing? He went, and they said, Yoda smiles and goes, the ability to fly. They bought a junker that the Padawans had to fix up. Also, Dooku is on Vjun. He's having old memories of his life in the temple with Yoda. Those are really good. He talks about how Yoda used to do a feather fight, meaning pushing the feather with the Force, and whenever a youngling would push the feather, he'd act like Yoda would bowl himself over and make everyone laugh, make all the younglings laugh, to make them think, oh wow, my Force ability bowled over Yoda, but they really didn't. And Dooku knew it was all a fake, However, Yoda never let Dooku win. He never let Dooku win any of the battles. And when Dooku went into a training fight with Yoda one time, he decided that he was going to lose to Yoda and break his arm and make Yoda look bad, So he went into the battle knowing he was going to lose, like planning how he would lose. And Yoda, as they went to match up, Yoda goes, I win. Dooku goes, what do you mean you win? We haven't even started yet. He went, yes, but you've lost your will to fight. So I win. And Dooku knows he's telling the truth because he went in there with the intention to lose and lose badly. And it makes Dooku mad, but at the same time, he learned a lesson. And Yoda hugs him and laughs and goes, no worry, Padawan. I will catch you when you fall. And he doesn't say if, he says when. And that's very important because later on, Dooku realizes, did he predict I'd go to the dark side? Is that what he's saying now? Like he's wondering how wise really is Yoda. And he's kind of having some conflicting thoughts. And Palpatine is not a good master. He says that. He knows. Palpatine rules by fear, by intimidation. And even though this is the path he's chosen, it's two different masters that he served back in the day. Not that Yoda's better, but Yoda had a different method. Sidious never hugged him. I don't think he even said anything like that. But either way, there's this crazy old hag that lives with Dooku. She's like a witch that can read tea leaves and stuff. She has a fox with her that's like her pet. And she keeps saying, my baby's coming home, my baby's coming home, my baby's coming home. And she's so happy and she cackles and she's mad, and Dooku says that in the book too. But it turns out that when he was taken from the Jedi, was taken from the old hag in that castle that Dooku is now inhabiting. So that's what she means by that. And we know this because later on he meets an old servant droid who becomes his servant during the adventure. Oh gosh, I wrote his name down. Fidelis, I think. And Fidelis is like a butler droid in a way, but he will protect Y. Like he tries to hide Y as Ventress is coming. He's like, no, I got to get into this fight. I can't be hiding. I'm a Jedi Padawan. I must support my master. But anyway, flash forwarding. That they're getting the ship fixed up. The Padawans are. Yoda's reading the manual, and when the kids finally get the ships, the Padawans get the ships fixed up. They say, "Okay, can we rest?" He went, "No rest. Load everything up, and then we'll go. You can rest when we're on the ship." And he goes, "We can't rest." And Yoda's like, "No, good practice it will be to use the Force to load everything." And he's not even looking up from the manual, and the droid goes, I insist that Master Wee be allowed to rest and get some food. And as he's talking, it says Yoda is not looking up from the manual and trying to reach and trying to find where his cane is, and then whacks the droid with it and calls him a toaster or whatnot. There's a lot of Yoda comedic moments for Yoda in here. That's another whole section here. Yoda's taste in food. The other Jedi Masters think whatever that is, it stinks. What is that stew he's eating? It looks like sludge. And in fact, a server droid comes by and tries and takes the bowl away from Yoda because he can't identify what's in the bowl. And it may be dangerous because he cannot identify that as food. And Yoda grabs his stick and starts whacking the droid. No, my food it is. Let it go. And it's really funny scene. And when the droid comes back with today's special, this nice glazed fish with almond and dressing and whatnot, Yoda's like, like he's all pouting that he's got this food in front of him that he doesn't like. Speaking of food, another excellent scene is when they're on the ship, he has the droid prepare these elegant meals for everyone. And they sit down, and it's in celebration of the life of the two masters that just died. Well, he is furious about this. Why are we celebrating their deaths? This is morbid. This is terrible. Is this the way of the light side of the Force? He's slowly turning bad, right? The dark side. And he throws a hissy fit, throws his food on the floor, his whole plate. And Yoda takes the food, uses the Force to put the food back on the plate and everything. And then he tells Yoda, you know nothing about pain, obviously. And Yoda gives and this is a great chapter ending. He says, know nothing about pain, do I? And now he's not joking. 800 years I've lived. Pain I've all seen. And it's just this great dialogue with Yoda. You can hear it happening. And then at the end, Y apologizes. They sit down, they eat, and it says Yoda told stories of the two Jedi Masters from when they were young and then up until the Padawans knew them. It says they laughed. Oh, at the end, he tells Y, he said, yes, there's darkness out there. There's darkness that's around us. The space is dark, but Jedi are the light. And you need to decide, do you want to be the light or just become one of the darkness? It's a great speech. But as they're laughing, it says they laughed, they cried, and they became the light. It is really, good. I love that scene. I love that scene. But yeah, there's so many good Yoda scenes. When Dooku is pondering when Yoda's coming, because he can feel him. He can feel that Yoda's on his way, on the planet coming toward him, and he hears the pitter patter of rain on the window, and he keeps thinking about the old days with him and Yoda, and then he realizes the tap tap on the windowsill is not the rain, it's Yoda. Yoda's grinning. It says grinning like a gargoyle was Yoda, because Dooku thought he was far away and on his way, but he was right behind Dooku the whole time. There's a great scene where Yoda talks to Dooku saying, hey, convince me to go to the dark side of the Force. Go ahead, I'm here. Convince me. And so Dooku's trying to say, you will have all the wealth you want. Wealth I do not need. He said, well, you will have all the power. Have all the power right now, head of the Jedi Council. And he's like, well, what do you want? Tell me what you want. The dark side will provide it for you. He went. And then Yoda holds up a rose that he picked from the garden, which was from an earlier discussion. They talked about how Dooku's earliest memory before the Jedi was that he was in a rose garden at his home. And he goes, make me a rose. Because he knows the dark side cannot create. It can only destroy. And the light side of the Force creates. Life binds everything in the universe and everything like that. And it's really good because the whole time Dooku's getting furious. What do you need a rose? You don't need a rose. You need power, wealth, money, women. This is what you need. He's like, no, give me my rose, Padawan. He wants to get the he wants to see to kind of show Dooku that the dark side is no good. With all this stuff, it can't create life. And so Dooku is just frustrated with him, but at the same time, Dooku's coming around. He's coming around, it feels like. Well, meanwhile, I should say that Obi-Wan and Anakin are in this very little, which is good. But at the beginning, they're in it for a little while where they're finishing up an adventure about to go back to Coruscant. And Obi-Wan makes a smart remark to Anakin saying, hey, who you been private messaging in Coruscant? He knows, he just wants Anakin to say something. Anakin won't say anything. Now, he keeps referring to Anakin as a Padawan this entire time. And I thought, oh man, did this happen way before Ahsoka came into the picture? I didn't know this. And then later on, like way later on in the book, toward the end, it says he is a Jedi Knight. He said, I'm not a Padawan anymore, remember? And I was like, well, why have you been calling a Padawan this whole time? I mean, yes, Obi-Wan can do that from time to time, but the whole time? That was kind of weird. But as they go back to Coruscant, Mace Windu, realizing the decoy Yoda has been attacked by Ventress, he realizes that Yoda's cover's been blown and he needs extra protection on Yoda. So he sends Anakin and Obi-Wan. Actually, that is at the request of Palpatine. Palpatine knows how to manipulate Dooku. He knows that Dooku may, easily be convinced by Yoda to come away leave the dark side for the light side. But he also knows that Dooku hates Anakin. So if he sends Anakin and Dooku realizes Anakin's there, he'll go nuts. And sure enough, it works because as they're talking, he's almost convinced to join Yoda. And then he senses Anakin's on the planet. Ah, so your new favorite's there. And he gets all mad again. And then Yoda and Dooku fight. Dooku escapes. Obi-Wan and Anakin save the day because the Padawans get involved with Ventress on the planet. And it looks like Wee's going to turn to the dark side, but he doesn't at the last minute. Scout tells him he does have a choice. There's no such thing as the destiny of going to the dark side and yada, yada, yada. But he makes the choice not to fall to the dark side. And that's just in time for the Jedi to come and run Ventress out. Obi-Wan and Anakin appear right after Dooku has escaped Yoda because Sean Stewart knows that Obi-Wan and Anakin should not come face to face with Dooku until episode 3. So he's got some smarts on him. But anyway, Obi-Wan tells a story. He's like, do you remember, he said, Anakin, do you remember when we stole Ventress' ship out from underneath her, and left her on the planet stranded? He went, yes, why do you mention that, Obi-Wan? And suddenly their ship, they see it rise from the city and then fly off. Ventress stole it. And then Obi-Wan goes, oh, no reason. She stole their ship as revenge. I love that. There's a lot of good comedy here. There's a great dialogue with Dooku and Yoda. Great dialogue with Yoda and the Padawans. Yoda is done perfectly here. Lots of comedic moments that I haven't mentioned with Yoda. Yoda Dark Rendezvous, very good. Wouldn't put it in my top 10, still wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it could be a top 20. It's a really good novel. Much better. I always liked it. I never disliked it, but I really, really appreciate it now because it is an excellent, excellent book. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. See you later.